Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well as always, and I'm back with another deck guide video, and this time the featured clan will be Orica Ting, and the featured card will be Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu, and that is also known as the CEO Crossstride. And of course, this is the latest support for Orica Ting, and to me, Tsukuyomi is still better than this. But this is new, so I gotta do a deck guide video for it, so let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, so here's the list. As you can see, the starter we are going to be running is the OG starter for this clan, and it's low gen Magus, and it's a really good starter because it is an extra huge trigger for your deck. And also when this return back to your deck, you draw a card so you don't miss out on any value if you ask me. And this is a really good starter to run on CEO deck just because you don't need to run any CEO or any Amaterasu name starter because there's no such requirement. That is why this is such a good starter to run. And for our grade 1, we got 4 PG. And also we got 4 Dark Cat because Dark Cat will be another way for you to fish for more cards. And we run 3 Gemini. This is just really good because you can make a lot of magic numbers with it. Especially you can pair your Sun and Tom to make it a perfect 16k column. And you run 2 Self Damager. This is really good because when you're at 3 and you are at Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu, you can use your Limit Break skill. And for grade 2, we run 3 Tom. You don't really need to run 4 just because your CEO, not CEO, your Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu can search for a specific card, so you don't really need to run 4, so 3 is good enough. And next up, we have 2 Mocha, and this is a really good card because it is an 11k attacker, and most of the time your hand is going to be 3 or more. So most of the time it's going to be 11k attacker, not going to be 8k, and 11k attacker is really good because you can attack your opponent grade 3 without a boost, and also you can make a lot of magic numbers with it too. And next we have 4 10k vanillas. This is really good because it's 10k, who doesn't like 10k? And you can replace this for the grade 2 self damager if you like. If you notice that there is a lot of people that prevent you to use your skill, which is your limit break, then you can increase or start playing the grade 2 self damager. But for now, I think this is a really good card to play. And also we run 4 12k attacker for Amaterasu. And for grade 3, we got 4 CEO, and this will be your base ride. Because you do not want to ride your Goddess of Sun Amaterasu first. But even though if you do so, you won't be in a bad spot because it's Limit Break 4 and not Ultimate Break 5. And we run 1 Gentle Gym. This is a really good card because, like I said, you can make magic numbers with it. And you play 1 is because you don't really want to play more than 1, since you can use your Goddess of the Sun to search for this card if you really need to. But otherwise, whether you have it or not, it doesn't really change the flow of the game that much, but it can come in handy when the times come, but it's not always. And next we got 4 Battle Sister Souffle, and it's really good because the skill is when this unit got boost, it gains 3000 power. So if you pair it with your 8k vanilla booster, it's going to make a perfect 21k column. But if you want to play the Attack the Vanguard and gain 2000 power, you can play that as well. And next we got our main card, and it's gonna be Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu, and the skill is Limit Break 4. When this unit attack the Vanguard, you count +2 and search for a card from your deck and add it to your hand. So this is really good because of that. You don't really need to rely on draw trigger as much because you can search for specific pieces you need. And so the second skill is gonna be where you have 2 or more hand cards in your hand. It's gonna gain 2000 power during your turn, and the last skill is the CEO Crossstride. It's gonna become a 10k base if you have CEO in the soul. So as you can see, the trigger build is 4 draw, 5 stand, and 4 heal. You don't really want to play 9 draw or even more than 4 draw in general because you have a lot of way to draw cards. Firstly, you got your Dark Cat, and you don't really mind if your opponent draw cards because your win condition is your Silent Tom as always. And doesn't matter if your opponent has PG because Silent Tom, you can't even guard it when your opponent is 5. So, and another way you draw card is your Goddess of the Sun because you can search for a specific card you need. That's why you don't really need to run as many draw as you used to. And yeah, how this deck win is pretty simple. You just want to try to fish for specific pieces, and when you got those pieces and when your opponent's at 4, even at 5, that's where you can actually win the game. So the 3 card you will be searching for this deck when you're using your Goddess of the Sun Amaterasu skill is firstly PG, secondly Gemini's if you need it, and lastly is your Silent Tom. So these 3 are the main search you're gonna do. Because, like I said, Silent Tom is a win condition, and you want to pair your Silent Tom with a Gemini because you want to make a perfect 16k column. Unless your opponent is at 5, then doesn't really matter. And yeah, and to me, this deck is actually not in the greatest position. In my opinion, it's tier 3. it's not the greatest, and Tsukuyomi, like I say, is better. But if you want to change your pace, play something new, this is a good deck to try because it is a pretty unique playstyle since you need to plan ahead multiple turns just because you can search for specific pieces where you don't really need to rely on luck and your draw trigger to lead you to those pieces where you actually need. And yeah, I guess this is enough talking, let's head into some gameplay. Okay, look like our first opponent is gonna be Aqua Force. And of course, Aqua Force is a pretty good clan right now, it's tier 1, so let's see how this deck face off against it. But the good thing is the weakness of Aqua Force is facing off against 13k base since their Diamantis and their Basio can't touch my Vanguard. So this is a pretty good hand. Like I say, you want a CEO and a Goddess of the Sun in your hand. So I'm just gonna mulligan a Great Tree back. So this is pretty much the perfect hand you can wish for. And since we got Santom in our hand, we don't really need to search for Santom, we can just search for PG if we really need to. Okay, look like we got our one-off copy Gentle Gym, so that's pretty cool. And we're just gonna run our Great One here. And you always want to put your low gen Magus at the back of your Vanguard and only boost when you actually really need to, because your Goddess of the Sun, right? If you write it as your first Vanguard, it's going to be 13k base if you have 2 or more cards. And you can boost with your starter and make a perfect 16k column, or otherwise you can pair it with your CEO and make a perfect 17k column. So only boost when you actually really need it, or unless you are trying to fish for some cards. So I'm not going to boost here. And since you're playing 5 stand, you do want to try to play around your stand as much as you can, but if you can't and you waste a stand, it's all good because it's gonna happen whether you play around it or not. You're gonna waste stand regardless, whether be it in your damage zone or your twin drive. So it's okay. And we only have 3 stand trigger in our deck, so we do need to plan wisely on how to use those. Okay, let's see what he's gonna do. I'm hoping that he can't get his 4th attack off, otherwise he's gonna get a free cut using his Vanguard skill. And I guess he's taking the slow approach, which is good, since Aqua Force is a fast-paced deck, in my opinion. And a heal, that's pretty good for him. And I guess I'll be taking it slow unless I draw a booster, because since you can search for a specific card, there will be time where you actually just call Santom down as a grade 2 interceptor. And look like we are getting a Morikawa hand because we have freaking 5 grade 3s out of 6 cards in our hand, so that's not good. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I'm still not gonna boost because I want to make a really good number when my Vanguard attack is Vanguard. But it doesn't really matter if you have 2 interceptor though, so let's see whether we get punished or not. So right now I would love to have PG or boosters. I would love Dark Cat as well because we need to try to get a better hand other than Great Trees. And look like his first ride is going to be Gory Maelstrom, and that's really good for us because he's not going to be able to use his skill until he go to 5 damage. And I guess he's going to call a self-damager down because he need a booster, that's pretty understandable. And that's also why we play a 10k base grade 2. Okay, he's going super aggressive here, which is fine. It'd be really nice if we can draw our self-damager so that we can maybe break, but since we are going for the cross-strike play, doesn't really matter. Ooh, 1 PG wasted, it's all good. I'm just hoping that he don't twin drive any triggers so that he don't push me to 4. Oh wait, he's gonna push me to 4 because of his Algo skill. Since he can Counter Blast 1 and gain 5000 power, so he's gonna push me to 4 regardless. Unless we get a trigger here. Oh, pretty lucky of us, that's good to see. So now, he only pushed 1 damage this turn, pretty much. So that's pretty good. And I guess we are doing pretty alright since its answer is only 3. And our damage is pretty close, 1 to 2. And we did join our Dark Cat like I said, so that's pretty good. So we are going to be running our CEO. And let's see what we're going to get from CEO. Is it going to be Trigger or a PG? Because if it's a PG, I'm going to use my Dark Cat skill. Oh, a grade 2. I don't mind drawing a grade 2, so I'll leave it on the top. And I'm going to call my Dark Cat down. And because I just Soul Charge 1 Silent Tom and I only play 3, I don't really want to call my Tom just for intercept. So I'm going to call, let's see, a grade 2 and a CEO. And of course, you don't really want to use your CEO's skill because it needs 4 counter blasts and your Goddess of the Sun need 2 counter blasts. So unless you have all the pieces you need, that's where you actually can use your CEO skill. So let's see, Stand Trigger is not going to do much for us this turn, sadly. So I'm hoping that I don't check a stand. Okay, no trigger, that's good, that's good. I mean, I'll take a draw or even a heal, but otherwise, nothing is fine as well. Okay, a PG. And nothing, that's all good. And we get to draw another card thanks to our starter skill. And let's hope we don't draw it into a trigger, that's all I'm gonna ask for. Okay, gonna ignore my request, that's all good, that's all good. So we didn't really lose much since we draw a heal and we return a heal, so it's pretty fair in my opinion. But again, this is a pretty bad hand. Because you never want a grade 3 hand, no matter what deck you are playing. Unless you are facing off against Gory Milshong where you actually need grade 3 to guard, but he's not going to use his skill anytime soon, so I don't really need that many grade 3 hands, and I don't even have a PG in my hand. And is he gonna actually ultimate break here? Well, he is, so he have a lot of self damage in his hand and he didn't eat any trigger, so that's pretty good for him. And luckily, we can survive because he can only put me to 5 because his left hand column can't touch my Vanguard, so that's good. And when we go into our cross right, his Diamantis can't touch our Vanguard as well, and another PG to the damage zone. That is not good at all. Okay, first game looking pretty rough. And we can't even heal because he have 2 self-damager and bring him to 5. Okay, that's definitely a misplay because if I have a PG and he get a trigger, he can put me to 4. Unless he do not want me to limit break using my Goddess of the Sun, which is pretty understandable, and also he have no more Counter Blast for now. He checked a heal, that means he's going back to 2 damage, that's really good for him. And I don't think I'm gonna win this game. It's gonna be really tough to win because we are so far behind. Unless we twin drive double heal or something. But only left 3 heal triggers? Is that right? 3? Yeah. Oh, and our last Tom! Luckily we saved our Silent Tom. Not looking too good, man. 2 to 5. Looking pretty fantastic for our opponent though. So we're just gonna go for the cross right here and I hope I draw a grade 2. Okay, a Dark Cat. So we're gonna go for the cross right here. So if you have your cross red and you have 2 or more cards in your hand, it's going to become 15k attacker. So it's going to be really good against a 10k base Vanguard, but nowadays there's not really much 10k base. So do take note. So let's see here. We actually might need to call our Tom and throw away our win condition. Otherwise, I don't think we can survive, to be honest. Let's see. I'm going to call a booster here. Or should I call it here? This is tough. Because I want a Gemini in one of my Vega columns. So let's see. You know what? I'm just gonna call it behind my Vanguard and see what I draw. Into a heal tree, that's pretty bad. Okay, we have to call our Tom. We don't have a choice here, so let's just suck it up. Our win comp is out the window. But we can get a PG using our Goddess of the Sun skill, but we still need to twin drive at least one heal, otherwise we are not going to survive. Okay, no trigger, that's good, because if we get a stem, we can actually push him to 5, but do I really want to put him to 5? But doesn't really matter because I can use... I mean, I can guard his Gory Milshon Limit Break skill. So I'm going to get a PG here. Cool animation here. So can we get a heal? Let's see. No heal, that's pretty sad, but you never know. Our damage check might be a heal if we are lucky enough. But even we did check a heal, it's still going to be tough to win. Because we have already run out of Silent Tom because 2 of it is in our damage zone, so that's pretty unlucky. But normally this doesn't happen. Okay, so he's going for a Maelstrom right here, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm screwed. There's no way I can win from here. Because he probably have like 2 PG in his hand and he's only at 4 damage. And he can retire my rear guards now. Like I said, Diamantis is not gonna touch a 13k base Vanguard. That is why you run the... On place you choose a unit and plus 2000 power, which I don't see most people run, I do not know why. But if you are interested in Aqua Force list, you can check out my Aqua Force deck guide video because I did have 2 different Aqua Force deck guide. One is a normal Maelstrom build and one is a Gory Maelstrom build. We see a 3 heal trigger in our deck, that's a lot if you ask me. Okay, no trigger. Can we get a heal? Let's find out. No heal sadly, because even if we get a heal, we still need heal trigger in our twin drive. And the odds of that is low, so I guess I'm going to take this loss. So game 1 go to Aqua Force. So good games, and I'm not going to end off this video with a loss, so I'm going to move on to round 2. Okay, right, our second opponent is going to be Bermuda Triangle, and that is a kind you don't see pretty often right now. Just because there's a lot of better decks out there beside Bermuda Triangle, so there is good chance it might be a VP farmer. Just saying. Okay. No CEO, but that's good. Like I say, you don't need to go for the cross-strike play always, just because your Goddess of the Sun skill is not Ultimate Break 5 and it's Limit Break 4. So running it as your first Vanguard is not the end of the world. And look like he is not a VP farmer, so that's good. That's really good. And our hand is pretty solid. We have 2 Dark Cats, that's 2 free cards for us. Okay. This time we don't have a Morikawa hand, so that's good, that's good. So we're gonna go for the Dark Cat right, and as always, to put the starter behind your Vanguard. Oh, okay, look, I just jinxed it. But since I just draw another Grade 3, there's a low chance of me drawing another Grade 3, so I'm gonna call another Dark Cat here. Okay, wow, seriously? Seriously, am I gonna get another Morikawa hand again? Okay, no trigger, that's good. Don't really want to overdraw. So this hand is pretty similar to the first game, not gonna lie. And I'm not a fan of that. And to me, this deck would do better if you go first, because if you go first, you can use your Shocking Attacker to make a perfect K column against a Grade 2 Vanguard. Because it's hard to make a perfect column against a Grade 3 Vanguard, if you ask me. Okay, draw is fine, and this is not a critical trigger. So we are going to 2. Okay, a draw into a Grade 2, that's good. At least it's not Grade 3, because I have way too much Grade 3 in my hand. Okay, Gemini, so this hand is pretty much complete we just need Sun Tom and our PG. So there's no reason to search Gemini anymore unless you're playing against a deck that can retire your back row. And I'm just gonna play defensive here, since I'm not gonna limit break next turn. Whoa, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna call a full board here. Because you do play stand trigger, so this is a good time to play around stand trigger. So play around stand trigger if you can. So as much as I want to boost, I'm just gonna keep it behind my Vanguard again. And we get a heal, that's pretty good. Because we're gonna put into 3 and we are gonna be 1 damage. And of course, unless if you are playing off against an aggressive deck and he push you to 4 before you even go into your grade 3, that's where you can decide to write your Goddess of the Sun instead of your Amaterasu. So you just ignore your cross-right potential and just go for it. And then check a heal, that's good for him. Double heal, wow, okay. Really fair, huh? Really fair. It's all good, it's all good. I was about to say we check 1 heal so that he heal is kind of fair, but he checked 2 heals, so don't know how I feel about that. But at least if our next check is heal, we can heal. Okay, so he is a cross-right deck as well, so and look, he's playing critical trigger. So I'm just hoping that he don't check critical, because checking critical when your opponent's at 2 or at 1, that is where it's the best time to check it, because you don't trigger their PGs. Okay, no trigger, that's good. And a Silent Tom into the damage zone. Not something you want to see, but at least we still have 2 more. Okay, a grade 2, that's good as well. So I'm just hoping that I don't soul charge another Silent Tom. That's all I'm asking. Okay, soul charge a heal, that's pretty bad to see. And because we have no way to draw our top card, we're just gonna put it to the bottom of the deck. So here is tough because I want to use limit break next turn and I can't do that if I have 2 interceptor. But if you check crit, I can. So I'm just gonna call 2 grade 2 regardless. So now I'm gonna boost, just because I am looking for a few cards like my Self Damager. Okay, a Tom at the bottom of the deck, that's good as well. And a Self Damager, which I need. Okay. No trigger there, and let's see what we draw. Into a Gemini, not too bad, at least it's not a trigger. So I actually don't mind if you check a crit, but at the same time, if you check a crit, I can limit break, but I don't have any more defensive card beside my PG, where I'm gonna search if I can use my limit break skill. Okay, a grade 3 bot. He plays stand, draw, and crit. Okay, this guy play all 4 triggers, that's pretty interesting to see. And he only left 1 heal, so as long as you don't check his heal, we should be good. Okay, no trigger again. Okay, so we are going to be at 3. We can't limit break, but it's all good. It's all good. We are still going to go for the cross right because it's going to make really difficult for my opponent to push harder. And like I say, the Battle Sisters to Flay is really good synergy against Gemini. That's why I choose to run this instead of the Choky Attacker. So here I can pretty much call full board, and I think I will do that just because I play stand triggers. And how many stand I left? 2. I left 2, but still, there is a chance we check it. Okay, a trigger, that's good for him. So we just need 1 trigger to put him to 5 damage. Okay, a stand, that's really good if he don't check a trigger on his damage check, but oh well, we still need a trigger regardless, so not gonna complain there. As long as he don't get a trigger here, then we are good. Ah, that's annoying! Why do you gotta get 2 perfect trigger at the perfect moment? And because of that, I'm not gonna put him to 5. And we actually might lose to a Bermuda Triangle. Damn, that draw trigger. That double trigger really saved him, because if he's at 5, we're just gonna win the game if we draw a Silent Storm. But now we can't even win on our next turn. Unless he don't have great tools. But he can use his limit break skill. But he don't have his cross right as well, so I guess pretty good. And he have a great one hand. So unless he check crit, we should be a pretty good position. His play there, okay. Doesn't really matter. A draw would be nice here. Okay, no trigger. We still have how many heal trigger left in our deck? We still got 2 more heal. So even if we check crit, we still have a chance to 6 damage heal. Ah, that's his last heal as well. Wow. If he don't check this turn on, if he don't check his heal on this turn, he can't heal anymore. So that's pretty lucky of him as well. And another Silent Tom into the damage zone. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. That's all I can say. Feels bad. And since we are playing defensive, we are just gonna search for PG instead of our Silent Tom. And if he don't have PG in his hand, we can actually win the game. So I guess I can swing like this first. Doesn't really matter. Okay, a trigger, that's pretty lucky of him because now I will need a trigger to hit through his Vanguard. Okay, gonna get PG. Still have 4 PG in my deck though, so unless we draw trigger into a PG or check a heal, we are pretty much gonna lose this game. Heal, that's good, that's good. Damn, this game is really close because of his triple heal trigger. Jesus Christ. Okay, we are gonna survive this turn, that's for sure. And if we don't have his great tool again, we are gonna win even without Silent Tom. Since he's at 5 damage and he have no more heal trigger. So thank God. And stand trigger can't save him either unless he check a stand into another trigger. Then there will be another different story. But since he check a trigger, I think we seal the game. I think we got the game in the bag unless he have 2 PG in his hand, which is pretty unlikely if you ask me. And we have no more stand trigger, so if you have 2 PG, we are in deep trouble. But then again, he didn't make me drop my PG this turn. So we can search for another PG and have 2 PG in total. And if we can top that grade 2, we are pretty much gonna win. Even if we don't fetch him off this turn and we draw a Dark Cat. So that's interesting. Okay, I guess we win. Because I'm thinking whether I should call a Dark Cat or not. Since there is a chance that I help him draw into another PG. So I don't know why he conceded there. But I guess we win the game on the second round. So that's pretty good. And I guess I'm gonna sign off this video here. Again, not a really long video like my previous that guide video where they are normally 40 plus minutes, but now I want to keep it around the 30 plus minute mark. And same as always, I do hope that you guys learn quite a bit about this deck and how it works in general. So same as always, do make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know how you feel about Omega Ting or Amaterasu in general. Do you think it's good right now? Do you think it should get buffed? Or do you think it's doing pretty well at the moment? And yeah, this should be. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for next video. Goodbye.